Hi, this is Susan at Mary Jane Gardening Club, and my elderberry bush is being very productive right now, as you can see. The great thing about elderberries is that they're slightly poisonous unless they're heated up, so the birds don't eat them and clean me out of house and home. And the other great thing about elderberries is that they're very antiviral, which all of us are a little worried about. I did a little research this morning, and I'm finding out that some of the big researchers are using elderberry as a COVID preventative, because apparently there's a compound in the elderberries that works with the cannabis receptors, believe it or not, and gives you more antiviral, anti-inflammatory protection. Words of caution though, elderberries cannot be used with anyone with an autoimmune disease because they upregulate your immune system, which means they turn on your immune system. Other things that may do this would be, let's see, what are the other herbs? Echinacea is an upregulator, so you don't want to use that one if you have an autoimmune disease. There's quite a few. I'll get a comprehensive list going. So this afternoon, we're going to make some elderberry cough syrup mixed with cannabis, which would have been a very traditional recipe in the turn of the 20th century. So we'll catch you on the flip side when we go in the kitchen and make elderberry syrup. Hi, this is Susan again. We're in the kitchen now, and you can see I picked some fresh elderberries, and our recipe is going to call for 1 cup of fresh elderberries. So you just take them off the stems. It's a little bit of work, but you can do it. And if you don't have fresh elderberries, you can use dried elderberries, which you can get online. So you use half a cup of dried elderberries if you're going to use the dried stuff. And if you're going to use the fresh stuff, use one cup, because it's full of water. So maybe get a few more here. And then we're going to put them in our pan. And then we're going to add 3 cups of water. We're going to put our 1 cup of fresh elderberries and 3 cups of water on the stove. Cooking removes or dissipates any poisonous compounds that might be in there and makes it totally perfectly safe for human consumption. We're going to add 1 cinnamon stick, 3 cloves, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. And we're going to let that boil for half an hour. Hi, this is Susan again. We simmered our elderberries, our cinnamon stick, our cloves, and our ginger, and 1 cup of fresh elderberries and 3 cups of water for a half an hour. So now we're just going to strain it. What you kind of want to do is get a potato masher and kind of mash the elderberries. They're a little stubborn, surprisingly, for fresh. I've worked with dry ones before, and they're kind of a booger. For the fresh ones, you think they would be a lot juicier, but anyway. So what we'll just do is we'll pour it all into the stove, and then I'll use the back of a spoon and try to mash it through a little bit more. So what we're going to do is mash with the back of a spoon the elderberries to squeeze all the antiviral properties out of the elderberries and get all of the chemical compounds that will help you should you get a cough. So this is going to be cannabis elderberry cough syrup, which was very popular around the early 1900s. So I took some Carmagnolia buds, which is a very high CBD strain, and I infused it into some coconut oil for 8 hours, and then I strained it. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of this mixture. And looks like some of my solids went to the bottom of the cup, so I'm just going to take some of this hot liquid, see if I can capture the rest of the goodies. We don't want to waste any of it. It's all very healing stuff, and I looked it up. Cannabis is very good for virus situations, and it was what was prescribed exclusively until antibiotics came into the picture. We're also going to add a cup of honey. I got it hot so it'd be easy to measure. There we go. So all you have to do is take your jar of honey, put it in the pan, warm it up, and then it's easy to pour and measure. There you go. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take some of this. We're going to put it in here. And we're going to stir it up. I've got these handy dandy jars to pass out to people, and these are them, and I'll be filling them with my syrup, and we will have Elderberry Cannabis Cough Syrup. Good for what ails you. Remember, this is not appropriate for anybody with autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or Crohn's or any of those things. So, because it turns on your immune system, and you don't want to turn on your immune system when you have a hyperimmune system. So anyway, I'm Susan with Mary Jane Garden Club. Thanks for joining us today, making Elderberry Cannabis Cough Syrup.